What's going on, everybody? Kalipis Tech here, coming back at you with another video. This is the beginner's guide to the TCL 30Z. In this video, I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks for this phone to help you get more familiar with the device. Now, before we go any further, I do want to remind you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to learn more about the device itself, be sure to check out my full review of it on the channel. But with that being said, let's get started. So the first thing I want to show you is how to change your system navigation. So as you can see down here, we got the classic 3 buttons that pretty much every Android phone has, but there's also a different type of navigation called gesture navigation that makes it look a little bit more modern and minimalistic. So I'm going to show you how to get to it right now. So the first thing we're going to do is go to settings. Now there are 2 ways to do this. First way is by pulling down the shade like this, and the settings icon is right here. The second way is through the settings app itself, which I put on my home screen, but you can also find it in your app drawer. But that being said, we're going to go to settings. From here, go to where it says buttons and gestures. And from this menu, go to system navigation. So as you can see, we got a couple different options here. First of all, we got the button layout, so you can actually swap the position of the back button in the recent apps if you want. And of course, this isn't a huge change or anything, but if you like it better this way, it's always an option. And now the big thing in this menu is of course the gesture navigation. So if we go here, as you can see, with gesture navigation activated, instead of buttons at the bottom, we got one line here. So like I said before, a little bit more minimalistic and modern looking. So let me give you a quick rundown of how to use it. So to go to your home screen, swipe up like this. To go to your recent apps, swipe partially up. And to go back, swipe your finger from left to right or right to left. Now if we go to the More section, there are also some other options here. So in this menu, you can activate what's called back from bottom, and this is essentially a hybrid between button navigation and gesture navigation. So as you can see down here, instead of one line, we got 3 different lines. So with this type of navigation, to go to your home screen, swipe up from the middle. To go to your recent apps, swipe up on the right. And to go back, swipe on the left. So as you can see, when it comes to system navigation, there are definitely several different options here. I personally like the button navigation the best on this phone, but if you haven't already, I definitely recommend giving all of them a try because at the end of the day, it's really going to come down to personal preference. So definitely play around with them and see which one you like the best. Now the next thing I'm going to show you is how to change your wallpaper. To do this, we're going to go to settings. From here, go to home screen and lock screen. And from this menu, the wallpaper option is right here at the very top. So as you can see, we got several different options. First of all, you can choose between wallpapers already on the phone. So this is going to be your stock wallpapers. And then you can also choose from your photos. And keep in mind, this is going to include anything connected to your Google Photos account. So if you have different albums that aren't actually on the device itself, you can still choose from them. Now changing your wallpaper from the settings menu is easy enough, but I'm going to show you a quicker and more convenient way to do it, while also being able to customize a bunch of other parts of your home screen. So what you're going to want to do is press and hold your finger on any blank spot on the home screen, so like this. And as you can see, this is going to pop up, so you can move your pages around. And of course, you can customize stuff like your wallpapers, themes, widgets, and even general home settings. So again, one more time in case you missed it, to access that secret home menu, all you got to do is press and hold your finger on the home screen like this. And there we go. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to use the dark theme. Now this is a pretty easy feature to use and there are actually 2 ways to activate it. So the first way to do it is by going to settings, go to display, and dark mode is right here. Turn it on. And as you can see, we are now in dark mode. If you want, you can also schedule it. So by default, it's going to turn on at 10 p.m. and turn off at 7 a.m. But you can also customize the times to whatever you want. Now activating dark mode through your settings menu is easy enough, but there's actually a much quicker and more convenient way to do it. So all you really got to do is pull down your shade twice. And dark mode is right here. And as you can see, we are now in dark mode. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to turn off notifications from apps. Now if you have a lot of apps, this is definitely an important thing to do right when you get the phone, because the more apps you have, of course, the more notifications you're going to get, and some of these apps send the most meaningless notifications, and not only can that be annoying, but it also makes it a lot easier to miss something important. So I'm going to show you how you can easily get your notifications under control. So we're going to go to settings. From here, go to notifications. And from here, go to Manage App Notifications. So as you can see, in this menu, it's going to show you all the apps that send you notifications, and you can toggle off whichever ones you don't want notifications from. Now that being said, there are certain system notifications that aren't on this list that you can't turn off, but don't worry, you're rarely ever going to get those, but just know that if you do, they're not going to be in this menu. So now we're going to take a look at the sound menu. To get there, go to settings. From here, go to sound and vibration. And the first thing you're going to see, as with pretty much any smartphone sound menu, is several different volumes here. As you can see, I currently have the phone in vibrate, so of course, in vibrate mode, the ring and notification volume are automatically going to be 0, but of course, this will be different if you do have your sound on. Then there's the media volume, so if you're watching a video, listening to music, something like that. And finally, we got the alarm volume. You can also go to silent mode from here. Below that, we got the ringtone. And keep in mind, if you do have a ringtone on, by default, the phone is not going to vibrate, but if you want it to vibrate and make sound, you can always toggle this on. Now, I know there are plenty of you out there who like custom ringtones, so if you want to add one of those, this is where you're going to go for that. Under the ringtone, we got the notification tone. Same kind of thing. You can select a custom ringtone, or any of the ones that are already on the phone. And this is also going to count for text messages, so keep that in mind as well. And then finally, we got the alarm ringtone. I'm sure you get it by now. So you can choose between any of these on the phone, or a custom ringtone. Then we got Do Not Disturb down here. But keep in mind, when it comes to Do Not Disturb, a much easier and more convenient way to turn it on is simply by pulling down your shade, and it's going to be right here. Now there are several sounds this phone makes when you're just using it, but those are optional and you can turn them off if you want. So to do that, go to More Sound Settings. And as you can see, we got dial pad tones, screen locking sounds, touch sounds, vibrate on touch, power on sounds, and even emergency alerts. So just keep in mind, all of this stuff is on by default, but if you want, you can always turn all of it off. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to take a screenshot with the TCL 30Z. So this is a real easy thing to do. All you got to do is press your power key and volume down key at the same time. You don't need to hold them, just press the buttons once, and that should be perfectly fine. So like this. And there we go, you can save it, share it, delete it, whatever you want, and that's pretty much it. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to change your screen timeout time. Now if you're consuming a lot of content, maybe you're watching videos, reading, playing a game, that sort of stuff, you might run into the issue where your phone falls asleep on you when you're still looking at it. This can be super annoying, so I'm going to show you how to fix it. What we're going to do is go to Settings. From here, go to Display. And from here, go to Sleep. As you can see, I have mine set to 30 minutes, but you can also have it stay on indefinitely, which I do recommend being careful about this, because if you forget to lock it, your screen is just going to stay on until the phone dies. Definitely not something you want. And then on the other hand, you can also have it as short as 15 seconds, so if you're not really using your phone a whole lot for anything, then this is always an option as well. But in general, it's going to be different for everyone, because everyone uses their phone differently, so I definitely recommend playing around with it a little and seeing which setting works best for you. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to turn off the auto rotate. Now in case you haven't noticed, by default when you turn the phone on its side, it does this. And now while this feature can be pretty useful in certain situations, it can also be really annoying in others. So of course you very well might have some times where you don't want it to do that, so I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to make it stop. So pull down the shade like this, and see this icon right here. This is the auto rotate icon, and of course when it's highlighted in blue, that does mean it's on. So simply turn it off. And now if we go back, it's not going to do that anymore. Now the last thing I'm going to show you is how to change your screen lock. Essentially, the screen lock is how you get into the phone, so by default when you lock the phone, it is going to ask for a PIN, and I also have face unlock. So let me show you how to set all this up. So we're going to go to Settings. From here, go to Security and Biometrics. And as you can see, the first thing that shows up here is screen lock, so go here. Enter your current PIN, which you should have from setting the phone up in the first place. Now as you can see, you can choose between none, swipe, pattern, PIN, and password. Now none and swipe are basically no security at all, which I personally don't recommend, but if you want to, you always can. Pattern is pretty cool. It's basically an old-fashioned Android kind of thing. Definitely a little bit more convenient than typing a PIN or a password, but it's sort of easy to guess. So if you want your phone to be a little bit more secure, I probably wouldn't use that one. And then we got the PIN, which is the industry standard. Regardless of the different options, every smartphone in 2022 is going to have a PIN as the default. And then we have the password if you want even higher security. Now, like I said before, this phone does have Face Unlock and it actually works pretty well. So to activate Face Unlock, go to Face Unlock right here, right under Screen Lock. It's going to ask for your PIN one more time. So as you can see here, I have mine set up already, so of course it's not going to have the option to set it up again. But if you're using it for the first time, it's going to give you some simple on-screen instructions to get it set up. Now once you have it set up, by default Face Unlock is going to be on, and you'll also have the option to stay on the lock screen after unlocking. So basically how that works is when you use your Face Unlock, it's not going to automatically go to your home screen. Instead, to go to your home screen, you're going to have to swipe up after that. If you don't want it to do that, you can always toggle it off. And if you don't want to use Face Unlock anymore for whatever reason, you can either toggle it off here or remove all the face data. But this was my beginner's guide to the TCL 30Z. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you found this information useful as well. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And again, if you want to learn more about the device and its specs, be sure to check out my full review of it on the channel. But that's it for this video. As always, I will see you in the next one.